If you don't like boring news but still crave the truth, then dive into The Robert and Crew Show. From mind-bending conspiracy theories to wild weather phenomena, we've got it all. Ever wondered what's really happening in your hometown, or what secrets the global news isn't telling you? We dig deep into the core of every story, unraveling the mysteries one podcast at a time. Join Robert and the crew as we navigate this vibrant, ever-changing cyberpunk landscape, bringing you interviews with the most intriguing minds out there. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, a news junkie or a weather enthusiast, there's something here for you. So strap in, listeners, because we're about to take you on a ride through the neon-lit alleys of truth and intrigue. This is the Robert and Crew Show, where the future meets the fantastic.
Yo, welcome back. Welcome to the Robert and Crew Show. As always, I'm your host, Robert.
And I'm the co-host, Crew.
And I'm Julie.
She's also a co-host. She always
Yeah.
forgets to mention that. So, guys, has anybody spotted Nibiru? Nibiru? Nope. Nobody's seen it yet? Are the TikTok
No.
videos lies? Are they all AI? I don't know. Maybe one of us these days will see Nibiru. All right, so tonight we're going to be doing the 7 wonders of the world. As requested by a viewer, Crew put together a show for the 7 wonders of the world. In your research, Crew, what are the 7 wonders of the world?
Well, there's 7
Matt
old.
says, Crew, is that the real Crew? Nibiru took Crew.
Yes, it's the real me. But no. Anyways, there's 7 old and 7 new. So technically there's 14.
14?
Yep.
Then how's it 7 wonders of the world if it's 14 wonders of the world?
Because they changed.
So is there a new 7 wonders?
Oh,
Okay,
well, this. Hold on.
What are the original?
You'll like this real quick. I'm going off topic for a second, then I'll get back on topic. Because we all know how
the man who hates going off topic is going off topic. Okay, what's going on?
For a bit. You'll like this. Guess what I just found out when I was scrolling through TikTok?
14 due to Common Core math. That's right, Matt. 100%.
Well, anyways, you know how we were talking about Chicago World Fair?
Yeah.
Guess what's happening soon?
Fair. We're having another World's Fair
in Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna be all like kind of like how they had it in Chicago, but the trailer they showed of how it will look like looks pretty dope.
I thought Trump originally said that we were going to have one here, a World's Fair here. I'm pretty sure he did. Like in the very beginning of Trump's presidency, so in the very not the beginning this time, but the first time he was in office, he wanted to bring back the World's Fair. So if we do get one, it would be sometime in the next 3 years, maybe. If not, it would be sometime in the next 10 years. But it's not unheard of for I don't even understand why the World's Fair stopped. Like that's the weird thing. It's like all that Tartarian architecture burned down, and then the World's Fair stopped. They stopped having excuses to have World's Fairs.
All right.
Yeah. And then that weird guy that had that mansion in Chicago.
The murder mansion, H.H. Holmes.
Yes.
H.H. Holmes's murder mansion. Yeah, that was during the Chicago's World's Fair. H.H. Holmes had a murder mansion that he murdered a whole bunch of people in, allegedly, and also
not a mansion, a hotel.
we can prove a whole bunch of them. Yes, it wasn't a mansion, it was technically a hotel, but
Yeah.
it's nicknamed the Murder Mansion.
Right.
They said that H.H. Holmes literally had deer drains installed in some of the bathtubs so that he could drain people. That's crazy. And there's been multiple ties that H.H. Holmes might actually be the one and the only Jack the Ripper.
Mm-hmm.
Because about the same time
Yeah.
that Jack had stopped killing people in London, and they never found him, supposedly. Now I think now we have some more like info on Jack. I might be wrong, but I think we do. But before we had the new information, we thought that Jack actually just traveled to America and started killing here. And we thought maybe he got caught and maybe he was H.H. Holmes because the timelines fit together.
Well, anyways, back on topic.
Yeah, back on topic. What
We
are you
have
doing taking
total.
us off topic? What were you doing taking us off topic?
I just had to bring
No,
that up
I'm
because I knew
serious.
you'd be
I'm sick of
interested in
it.
that
I'm
topic real
sick of
quick.
it. I'm sick of it. You yell at me all the time for going off topic, and then you fucking go off topic. Stop.
Okay. I just wanted to bring it up because I knew you'd be interested in that. But anyway, we have a total of 14.
Okay,
Seven
give me
Wonders of the World.
the original 7.
Okay.
Well, what
So-
the like? I know my Pyramid of Giza is in the original 7.
All right. I'm going to go. Here's how. This is what I'm going to say first.
First one.
The 7 Wonders of the World are iconic landmarks recognized for their historical culture or agriculture significance. The concept originated in ancient times with the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The list complied by Greek scholars around the 3rd century BCE. In 2007, a modern list known as the 7 Wonders of the World was established through a global poll organized by the New 7 Wonders Foundation. Below is a detailed information on both lists, including their history, significance, and current status. So
I know, Matt. Crew got taken, and he's on Nibiru, and this is imitation Crew. He is just
I'm
a
a clone.
robot
I'm a
wearing
clone that
a
came
Joe
from.
Biden skin suit.
I'm a clone that came from the second Earth, the clone Earth.
You're the same technology as skin suit Biden. So
Well, let's just say I'm actually a reptilian.
Oh no,
No,
not the lizard people. Not
just
the
kidding.
lizards.
I'm just kidding. All right, let's get back. Let's get back to this. All right, 7 wonders of the ancient world. The ancient wonders were monumental achievements for early civilization, primarily located around the Mediterranean and Middle East. The list
The
was first.
Mediterranean.
Yeah, that. The list was first formalized by Greek writers like Antipater of Sidon, and later refined by others. These wonders were celebrated for their engineering, artistry, and cultural importance. The first one on the list is Great Pyramid of Giza, Giza, Egypt.
Giza, baby. I told you. It was the first one.
Mhm.
That's
Construct-
my thing.
Yeah, construction was around 2630 BCE, built for Pharaoh Khufu during Egypt's Old Kingdom. Description: the largest of the 3 pyramids at Giza, originally standing at 146.5 meters, which is about 481 feet tall. It was the tallest man-made structure for over 3,800 years. Construction are constructed with over 2.3 million limestone blocks. It served as a tomb for the pharaoh.
Lies.
Significant. Rep-
It was
represents.
not a tomb. Like it, there was a tomb within the pyramid. It was not just a tomb. That's
Right.
lies. And I think we
Right.
all know it's lies now. Zahi Hawaz or whatever the hell that dude's name is. Like, no disrespect to his name, but like that man is genuinely hiding things, and everybody knows it. He is lies about the things that happen with the pyramids. He lies about discovering things in the pyramids. He will not acknowledge that those Italian researchers that just used LiDAR on the Great Pyramid of Giza and what they found underneath the pyramid. Yeah, we don't know for sure. It's like coils or like anything like that, like we were being told for a minute.
Mhm.
But this is not just the tomb. This is not just a tomb. This served much more of a purpose than just a tomb. And if you look at the other pyramids in Egypt, a lot of them look like shit.
Right.
Off center, they look terrible. A lot of people go, well, that was weathering and what time does to that pyramid. Okay, well, the big one, the Pyramid of Giza, it weathered too. It got destroyed too. The capstone was stolen off of it. Pieces of it are missing, and it's still perfectly aligned with. Basically, wasn't it? It was perfectly aligned with Orion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
at
wasn't
one
it
point.
white originally?
Yes, the
With the
pyramid
Yeah.
was
limestone?
all white at one point because it was limestone. It was limestone. So over time, like that limestone's color faded because of sunlight. And then also on top of all that, you had sand that was constantly being blown onto the pyramid, which degraded that limestone. And then on top of all of that, you also had rain. And rain played a pivotal part in just destroying and eroding parts of the pyramids. But somehow the Pyramid of Giza still looks absolutely amazing, even after being torn up for thousands of years or whatever. I mean, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And they want you to believe that at first they wanted you to believe that slaves built it. Then they want you to believe that normal Egyptians built it. And then you find out where some of the stones came from, where quite a few of the stones came from. And it's over 500 miles away. And some of these stones, the weight of them alone are unmovable by human hand. You would need probably 10,000 plus or more people to move them, and they would only move a couple of inches an hour because you're moving thousands and thousands of pounds. Now, there's some arguments that people used the river when the river like overflowed or whatever, like the Nile, when it got really crazy during the rainy season, that was the perfect time for them to, I guess, use some kind of wood and put the block on top of that wood. Yeah, a 20,000 pound block or whatever on one piece of wood. I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it's only 5,000 pound blocks, but on some wood and float that down the Nile to its destination. Do you buy that? I I don't know if I buy that. I don't think I do. But yeah, so the first wonder of the world is Giza, and we all know why. It's a crazy freaking thing. So what's the second one, crew?
Hold on. I'm not finished with the first one.
Okay.
Represents ancient Egyptian architecture prowess and their complex understanding of mathematics and astronomy. Current status: the only ancient wonder still standing, though its outer casing stones have mostly eroded. It remains a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a major tourist attraction. Interesting fact: the pyramid's alignment with the cardinal points is precise to within a fraction of a degree, showcasing advanced engineering.
Yeah,
So
so like
that's
I was saying,
yeah.
it's perfectly they did it almost perfect. Like everything on the pyramid is almost perfect.
Mhm.
Jamie says, "Greetings, Robert and crew. What can you tell me about the Great Wall of China?" And then also, not to worry, Julie, but one of your friends or our friends, Tanya Smith, is in the hospital. She had 7 seizures tonight. That's crazy. I hope she's okay.
Well, we'll keep Julie's friend in our prayers, but that's part of the new Seven Wonders, the Great Wall of China. So I'll get to that. I'm still in the old right now. Second one, Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Babylon, modern day Iraq. Construction allegedly built 600 BCE by King Nebuchadnezzar II.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar. It's
Thank you.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah,
Okay.
for his wife Emetitus. Emetitus, I guess is how you say her name. Description.
I don't know his wife. I don't know that name.
Me neither.
Description. Described as terraced gardens with trees, shrubs, and vines irrigated by water pumped from the Euphrates River. The gardens were said to rise in tiers, creating a lush, elevated oasis. Significance symbolized Babylonian wealth and engineering ingenuity, though their existence is debated due to lack of archaeological evidence. Current status likely destroyed by earthquakes or war. No definitive ruins exist. Some scholars
But,
suggest
but they're
the
talked about
garden,
so much.
yeah,
Yeah, they're talked about so much in the Bible and in like old times that
mhm,
basically they were taken as a real place. Just like Troy, was taken as a real place for a while and then kind of wrote it off and then they found Troy. So
right. So some scholars suggest the gardens may have been in Nineveh, not Babylon, or purely legendary. Interesting fact. Ancient texts like those of Diodorus Siculus describe elaborate irrigation system, possibly using an Archimedes screw. So that's the second old um, Seven
Wonder
Wonders.
of the world.
Yeah,
Elm Street said Tanaka doesn't reference the pyramids, and it says, "Does the Bible?" I don't know. Does the Bible reference the pyramids?
I don't believe so.
Mm-mm. Not that I know of. I'd have to look that up.
Oh, Torah. Yeah, no. I should have realized that you were saying. Yeah, no. The Torah doesn't reference the pyramids.
All right, number 3. Statue of Zeus at Olympia, Greece.
It's very strange, Elm
Construction
Street. It's very strange. Sorry.
con- construction 435 BCE, created by sculptor Phidias Description: a 12-meter, 40-foot statue of Zeus, seated on a throne, made of gold, ivory, and ebony. It was housed in the Temple of Zeus at the site of ancient Olympic Games. Significance: a masterpiece of classical Greek art, symbolizing divine power and the cultural importance of the Olympics. Current status: destroyed likely in the 5th century CE, possibly by fire or earthquake. Only descriptions and small-scale replicas remain. Interesting fact: the statue was so grand that it was said to almost touch the ceiling of the temple, overwhelming visitors with its scale.
I bet some, like, they don't say that, but I bet, it could have been destroyed just because people wanted to loot it. It was made out of ivory and gold and what else? Like, somebody was like, "Oh, I'm rich. if
And
I
ebony.
destroy this and take everything, I'm freaking
Yeah.
rich."
Yeah, it was also made of ebony.
Yeah, speaking of which, have you, like, this, just to be off subject for 1 second, did you guys see that video that was going around of the guy that pulls up to like random street poles and street lights dressed as a utility worker, but he's not a utility worker, and what he does is he strips copper out of all of those wires and actually turns people's power off?
Oh my
And he
goodness.
claims that he works for the city, but like he's done this like 6 or 7 times. How do you not figure that out? Sorry, we can go back to what you were talking about with that. I just wanted to portray that to that
Right.
statue. Like, people could have
Yeah.
taken that stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of. We don't actually know. All we know, it could have been destroyed by earthquake or fire. Who knows? Or
Jamie said the Bible only mentions the Egyptians' time. It doesn't mention the pyramids.
right.
And then Matt says we can never have nice things. No, especially not.
Yeah.
Why not? Because a tweaker will pull up in a utility outfit and steal the copper out your freaking outside, and you'll never get to watch TV again because the same guy will keep coming back, and you'll just think it's the power company. Because that's literally what just happened to some poor people.
Yeah. Number 4 of the old 7 wonders of the world: Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. Ephesus, modern day Turkey. Construction 550 BCE, with multiple rebuilds after destruction, funded by King Croesus of Lydia. Description: a massive marble temple dedicated to the goddess Artemis, measuring about 115 meters long and 55 meters wide, with 127
What was the
columns.
name of the temple crew?
Temple of Artemis. With 127 columns, standing 18 meters tall. Significance: a center of worship and a symbol of Hellenistic architecture. It was one of the largest temples of its time. Current status: destroyed by arson in 356 BCE by uh, Herostratus, and, and later invasions. Only fragments and a single reconstruction column remain at the site. Interesting fact: the temple's destruction coincided with the birth of Alexander the Great, leading to a legend that Artemis was too busy to protect her temple. So, the Greek goddess Artemis, the uh, one for known for hunting, her temple in Turkey. not Greece. Make that make sense.
Interesting.
Wait, what?
Okay, so the Temple of
Make what?
Artemis
Make
of Ephesus. Yeah, that one.
So that's supposedly the Temple of Artemis. Yes.
Yeah, so that's in Turkey when she's a Greek goddess.
Right.
So make that make sense.
I mean, it's Turkey. How far away is Turkey from Greece? Might not be that far away.
We can ask Grok.
Yeah. Yes, we can. Why was the Temple of Artemis built in Turkey?
The Temple of Artemis was built in Turkey, specifically in Ephesus, as a grand shrine to honor the goddess Artemis, who is worshipped as a deity of fertility, hunting, and the moon. It was also meant to showcase the wealth and devotion of the city, attracting pilgrims and boosting trade. Plus, they wanted it to be one of the most impressive structures around.
So it was just built in Turkey because they built it there to worship that particular goddess or pay tribute to Artemis.
Okay.
They said the Greeks were expelled from Western Turkey. They were next door neighbors, and the Greeks used to control all of Turkey, even to pass the Middle East, called Greco-Bactria, and that's from Elm Street. So it was Greece in that time, is what he says.
Okay. Okay. All right. That makes more sense. No, the fifth one though on the list is mausoleum at Halicarnassus. Halicarnassus, modern day Bodrum, Turkey. Construction 350 BCE, built by Mausolas, a Persian satrap, by his wife Artemisia II.
Hmm.
Description: a grand tomb combining Greek, Persian, and Lycian architectural styles, standing about 45 meters tall, within intricate sculptures and a stepped pyramid roof. Significance: the term mausoleum derives from this structure, which set a precedent for monumental tombs. Current status: destroyed by earthquakes between the 12th and 15th century. Some sculptures are preserved in the British Museum. Interesting fact: the mausoleum's friezes depicting battles were crafted by some of Greece's greatest sculptors, including Scopas. That's a beautiful place.
Yeah, that's the mausoleum.
Okay.
It's pretty.
Next one on the list, which would be number 6, Colossus of Rhodes, Greece. I want to see this real quick before I read about it.
Okay. Pulling it up now.
Oh, that's cool.
That is neat looking.
That's Colossus of Rhodes.
Construction 292 through 280 BCE, designed by sculptor Charles of Lindis. Description: a 33-meter, 108-foot bronze statue of the sun god Helios, standing at the harbor entrance of Rhodes. Significance: celebrated a military victory and symbolized Rhodes' prosperity as a trading hub. Current status: toppled by an earthquake in 226 BCE, it remains where sold as scrap in the 7th century CE. No traces remain.
Oh,
Interesting fact: contrary to popular depictions, it likely did not straddle the harbor but stood on a pedestal near the shore.
that's sad. The fact
Yeah.
that it was sold for scrap.
Wow.
They didn't fix it. They were just like, "Yep, we're gonna sell it for scrap."
Yeah. And then the last wonder of the old wonders of the world, Lighthouse of Alexandria, Pharos of Alexandria, Egypt.
It's always pretty neat looking.
Oh yes, for sure. My cat is snoring, so it's so funny. I wish I could hear him. He is so loud, snoring his little cat butt off. I wish I could sleep as good as my cat sleeps sometimes.
That's a beautiful lighthouse.
That is the
Sure
lighthouse
is.
of Alexandria.
So it was constructed around 280 BCE, built under Ptolemy first and second. Description: 100 to 120 meter, 330 to 390 foot lighthouse on the island of Pharos, guiding ships into Alexandria's harbor. It had 3 tiers: a square base, an octagonal middle, and a circular top with a statue. Significance: one of the tallest structures of antiquity. It was a marvel of engineering and a symbol of Hellenistic innovation. Current status: destroyed by earthquakes between the 10th and 14th century. Underwater ruins have been discovered in Alexandria's harbor. Interesting fact: the lighthouse's design influenced later structures, and it may have used mirrors to reflect sunlight for navigation.
That's
So
interesting.
that's the old 7 wonders of the world. Now let's dig deep into the new 7 wonders of the world. New 7 wonders of the world.
The new.
In 2000, the New 7 Wonders Foundation, led by Bernard Weber, launched a global campaign to select a new list of wonders through a public vote. Over 100 million votes were cast, and the results were announced on July 7th, 2007. These modern wonders reflect a mix of historical, cultural, and architectural significance from around the world. So I'm thinking we'll probably have a new list of seven wonders of the world probably in the near future. Who knows? Because
Right.
it seems like they want to keep changing the seven wonders of the world every so many years. Which this is the second list, so we're probably going to get a third one. Who knows when? So let's dig deep on number one. Great Walls of China. So let's see this picture real quick.
That's the first one.
Of the new seven wonders of the world.
Not on my list. It's gonna be funny if you said, because I already have two pictures, but they were not of any of the ones that you were just talking about.
Well,
Because I looked up the seven new wonders of the world.
I
I
found
got
it on one of the videos that I was
couple,
watching that it's one of
files
the
of it.
wonders.
well, when I typed in the old and new, it was number one of the new seven wonders. So
Right.
all right,
And they say you can see it from space.
which is not true. Anyways, Great Walls of China construction built.
Over here, like space is stupid.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Construction built primarily from the 3rd century BCE to the 17th century CE, with major contributions during the Qin 221 to 206 BCE, and Ming 1368 to 1644 dynasties. Description: stretching over 21,000 kilometers, which is about 13,000 miles. The wall was built to protect Chinese states from invasions and to control trade along the Silk Road. It includes watchtowers, fortresses, and varied terrain significance, a symbol of Chinese ingenuity, military strategy, and cultural endurance. Current status.
Ingenuity.
Thank you. An UNESCO World Heritage Site, well preserved in sections, e.g., Badaling, I mean. Though some parts are deteriorating, it attracts millions of tourists annually. Interesting fact. The wall is not a single continuous structure, but is a series of walls built by different dynasties. So here's my thing about the Wall of China. I don't actually think it was to protect China, like you said, Robert.
Well, my theory is that the Great Wall of China wasn't meant to protect China. It was meant to keep China out. And I guess I have a flipped theory, but it's only a theory and it's only an opinion. But I think the Mongols may have even started the build, the Great Wall of China, but we're even told that it could have possibly been a Tartarian structure, not a Chinese structure.
Right.
So, I mean, it really just comes down to like, are you going to believe mainstream archaeology or are you going to go off on your own like view of the world? Obviously, mainstream archaeology and China obviously both state that the Great Wall of China was built by the Chinese to keep the Mongols out, or I believe that's what it was. It was to keep the Mongols out of China, supposedly.
Wow.
But
Yep.
that's the official story.
Which we'll never know the truth. So It's all alleged at this point. But number 2 of
On
New
Street
Seven
said, I
Wonders.
mean, the wall has to be something. Why have those towers and so many walls in one area of China? And then Jamie said, wasn't it meant to keep Mongolian people out of China? Yes, the official story is that the Chinese built it to keep the Mongols out. That's the official story, but there's a lot of other. If you want to believe in a advanced civilization, say a Tartarian civilization, they could have built the Great Wall of China. And it could have been built for an entire different reason than what we're told it's built for today.
Yeah.
So really it depends on if you believe that China actually built the wall or if you believe that they founded the wall. They just found it. Get it? Founded. They founded the building. They founded the wall.
Yep.
But anyways, what's the second one?
All right. Petra, Martin, Jordan.
Yeah, no, we're gonna go a deep dive on Genghis Khan or Khan or however you say his last name.
Genghis Khan.
But Crew and I already talked about doing a deep dive on Genghis.
But Petra, Martin, Jordan is the,
After you come back from Nibiru, Matt says after Crew comes back from Nibiru. His name is actually
Okay.
Chinggis, not Genghis. So Chinggis.
So the
Chinggis
truth
Khan.
is, the reason why I wasn't here yesterday, and I'm going to explain why. So
He got
I
beamed
actually-
up by aliens, guys.
no, this whole week I'm working 6 days a week this week, so I passed out yesterday. That's why I was on.
Don't believe
So-
him. The aliens got him.
I didn't get abducted by aliens. Dang it!
You got abducted by the Anunnaki.
Before you go. Anyways, Petra.
You had some
Jordan.
weird like fire ghost behind you a minute ago. I heard some weird
Oh,
noise and I
It was
saw like
it
fire.
was roommate.
was
It was
gone.
my roommate. They were talking to me for a second.
Oh, I thought you had a ghost playing with fire.
Yeah, I thought it was a UFO.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was those aliens from Nibiru, Matt.
Okay. Let's get back on topic. All right. But no, seriously, I was asleep.
And,
I was tired.
Elm Street says you work hard, you're a good man.
Thank you. All right. Anyways, Petra.
What's it? Petra?
Petra. Mhm.
You know, you could have told me all of the ones you were going to do earlier, and I could have done this without doing it live. My cat is now talking in his sleep.
You know what Petra reminds me of?
What?
The Mummy.
Was there like
The
Oh,
movie
Mummy?
The Mummy? Yeah. Where they went to Petra. Or at least they
I
mentioned it
filmed that.
anyway.
Like the Mummy that was a fun movie.
Yeah, it was.
That was a
All of them
fun
were.
movie.
All of them were really good.
I love the last one.
All right, I
One of
got
my
an image
favorites.
coming up, guys.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this. The third one was okay.
Sorry, I'm so slow. I'm bad at this. I'm not Jamie Rogan. I'm fast.
You're good. But anyways, I'm gonna say this because we were talking about the Mummy for a second while Rob's getting the picture. I liked the first two. The third one was okay. Didn't really care for the third one. Because
What do
one,
you mean? Wow, Rob's getting the picture.
they replaced the actress who played.
Petra.
Yeah, they replaced the actress who basically played the main character. Anyways, established as early as 4th century BCE by the Nabatean kingdom. Description: a city carved into rose red cliffs with iconic structures like Al Kazna, the treasury, and a sophisticated water management system. It was a key trading hub. Significance: represents Nabatean architectural and engineering brilliance, blending Hellenistic and local styles. Current status: a UNESCO World Heritage Site, well preserved but facing threats from tourism and erosion. Archaeological excavations continue. Interesting fact: Petra was largely known to the Western world until rediscovery in 1812 by Johann Ludwig Burckhardt. So that would be number 2. Number 3, Christ the Redeemer, Cristo Redentor, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Rio de Janeiro.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Erosion.
Oh no. What happened to crew?
I'm still here.
Okay. Elm Street says petrified means stone.
Yep.
And then he also said my bad crew for whatever reason. What did he do?
No, you're good.
All right. So is that all you had about Petra, or did you have something more you wanted to
That
talk
was all
about
I
with
had about
Petra?
Petra. The third one is
Okay.
Christ the Redeemer, Cristo Redentor, Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the one you're talking about. It's the statue that I talked about in a earlier episode, which you told me was not there, and it was in Poland. And then we found out that they're both the same statue, just the one in Rio de Janeiro is bigger.
Yeah.
Like I said, next time tell me the images you want. Not fast. I feel like a failure.
Now it's the time to pull
Here you go,
out the
guys. It's
Jeopardy music.
There
All right. Anyways,
you go, bro. It's on a screen, crew.
Yeah. Construction built between 1922 and 1931, designed by Paul Landowski and sculpted by Gorgov Leonida. Description: a 30-meter, 98-foot Art Deco statue Jesus Christ atop a Corcovado mountain with arms outstretched overlooking Rio. Significance: a symbol of Brazilian Christianity and cultural identity. It's one of the most recognizable landmarks globally. Current status: well maintained, a UNESCO World Heritage Site as part of Rio's landscape, and a major tourist attraction. Interesting fact: the statue was struck by lightning in 2014, damaging a finger, but was quickly repaired.
Airdropped that on there. I don't know. What are we talking about? The moon in the picture? Is that the problem? Because the moon is right behind the statue? Does that look fake? Is that AI? It's a sign. It's a sign. Cats and goats. Or coats and goats, not cats. Laugh my ass off. Nice one,
And
Jamie. It's cool looking.
it is cool looking.
She says the statue has been placed on there. No one was climbing that to build it. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, now I understand. I thought you were I feel retarded. I thought you were saying that it was photoshopped in there like the moon was. Like somebody airdropped the moon into the photo. I feel so dumb right now. But no, I totally understand what you mean now, is that nobody climbed all the way up there to build that up there. They put it there. Sure. Yeah, I could see that. But who did it? The sculptors, just two of them. They carried that up there by themselves and did it.
Well, if it was airdropped, it could have been like placed by
A helicopter.
a helicopter
When
from around that
when was
time.
it put there? What year was it put there?
So it was built between 1922 and 1931.
So did we have a helicopter that could do that back in 1931?
Probably. Who knows? I don't know.
In 1931, did we have a helicopter that was strong enough to lift 20,000 pounds?
No. In 1931, helicopters weren't advanced enough to lift 20,000 pounds. The first practical helicopter,
Okay.
the Focke-Wulf F.
Okay. How did they get the statue, Christ the Redeemer, on top of the mountain?
Christ the Redeemer in Rio was constructed in pieces on the ground in the late 1920s and early 1930s, then transported up Corcovado Mountain using a cogwheel railway. Workers assembled it on site, with cranes and manual labor helping to position the massive concrete and soapstone statue.
How many people were in the crews that helped put up the Christ the Redeemer statue?
The exact number isn't specified in available records, but teams included engineers, artists, and workers, with Brazilian engineer Heitor da Silva Costa leading the project. Estimates suggest hundreds of people were involved over the 9 years of construction from 1922 to 1931, using info from web sources.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. There you go. They built part of it together on the ground. They all got together, picked those stones up, put them on some kind of train railway that brought the stones up to the top of the mountain where crews assembled the rest of it. And it took them 9 years.
Interesting.
Wait, a real conveyor belt? That thing must have been massive. Maybe. Yeah, it was basically. I feel like it wasn't a conveyor belt though. It was literally a train. It's like what they said. It was a railway. So they put these things on like a train, these giant stones, and had them go up the railway, all the way up the mountain, and then crews at the top of the mountain took the pieces off that were kind of partially put together, and then they finished putting the statue together. It took them 9 years.
Right.
No, Jamie, I don't think Crew's that strong or that powerful. Unless Crew really was abducted by the Anunnaki and taken to Nibiru and was injected with weird like things to make him superhuman, and he went all the way up there and lifted it himself and put it there. Had to be hand cranked all the way up for sure. That's crazy.
All right.
Wonder how many people died building it. I don't know. We could find that out real quick. How many people died building the Christ the Redeemer statue, if any?
No one died building the Christ the Redeemer statue. It's remarkable. Reports say not a single worker was harmed during its construction from 1922 to 1931, which many considered a miracle at the time. Pretty amazing for such a massive project.
There we go. Nobody was nobody was killed in the making of that statue. Elm Street says Nibiru is always a great subject because there's an anomaly out there, just don't know what it is. Hidden dimensional planet that Crew is simultaneously on right now.
Oh my goodness. No, I'm not.
And then Jamie says, "Wow."
All right. Number
Elm Street and me are just laughing over here.
number 4, Christ. Okay, so after Christ the Redeemer, which was number 3, number 4 is Machu Picchu.
Machu
Cusco
Picchu.
region, Peru.
Machu Picchu. Always liked that name. Machu Picchu is actually really freaking cool.
Right.
It's one of those places that I hope one day I get to visit. Or at least be where it was at. Because I know how like I know those places like they're basically ruins now, right?
I believe so.
I think Machu Picchu is just ruins, but they're like really pretty ruins. Yeah, it's this.
All right. Construction built around 1450 CE by the Inca Empire, likely as a royal estate for Emperor Pachacuti. Description: a stone city at 2,430 meters, 7,970 feet above sea level,
Elm
featuring.
Street says Machu Picchu is famous because the last Mayans hid there when the Spanish conquered and they were never found.
Terraces, temples, and residences. Its precise stonework required no mortar. Significance: a testament to Inca engineering and urban planning. Set in a stunning Andine landscape, current status: a UNESCO World Heritage Site, well preserved but at risk from over tourism and landslides. Interesting fact: rediscovered in 1911 by Hiram Bingham. It was hidden from the Spanish conquistadors during their conquests.
Oh, Elm Street said, by the way, that he meant Inca. He doesn't know why he said the Mayans.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I think we knew what you were talking about. Because now that you mentioned that you said Mayans, I'm like, yeah, he's been saying Incans. That's okay though. But so is that all you had on Machu Picchu?
Yeah.
Machu Picchu is so pretty. Like it's a gorgeous place. I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
Number 5 is Chichen Itza,
Chichen
Yucatan,
Itza,
Mexico. Yeah, Yucatan,
Chichen
Mexico.
Itza.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually been here. I've actually been here. It's the only place on this list that I've been to. I want to go visit the pyramids. This is the only pyramid I've been to. It's a really beautiful place. I would love to go to Chichen Itza again. I was very, very lucky to go there. I went there because of my parents. We went on a trip. There you go.
Construction built 600 to 1200 CE by the Maya civilization. Description: a major Mayan city with structures like El Castillo, Temple of Kukulkan, a 30-meter pyramid with 365 steps, symbolizing the solar year. It includes obs- observatories and ball courts. Significance: reflects Mayan astronomical knowledge, religious practices, and architectural skill. Current status: a UNESCO World Heritage Site, well preserved, and a popular tourist destination. Interesting fact: during equinoxes, shadows on El Castillo create the illusion of a serpent descending the pyramid, symbolizing Kukulkan. So that's all I have on Chichen Itza.
Coates McGoats says only wonder I've ever seen is a modern one, the Sydney Opera House. It's pretty cool there.
Hmm.
And then Elm Street said a certain time of the year that staircase makes a shadow of a snake too. Only 1 hour it lasts or so.
Hmm.
And then Matt said, I grew up close to Niagara Falls. Yeah, Niagara Falls is pretty cool. That's definitely a cool one. All right, so what's the next one I'm going after here?
Number 6 is Colosseum, Rome, Italy.
Of course, it's the Colosseum. Beautiful place. I have to go before I die. Have to see the Colosseum. The Colosseum would be so cool to go to. Same thing with everything else in Rome too. Rome and Greece are two places I would just love to go see. And Italy.
All right. Construction built between 70 to 80 CE under Empress Vespasian and Titus. Description: a massive amphitheater
Hey, Julie, you're muted.
originally holding up to 80,000 specters, used for gladiatorial contests, animal hunts, and public spectacles. Significance: a symbol of Roman engineering and imperial power, showcasing advanced construction techniques like concrete and arches. Current status: a UNESCO World Heritage Site, particularly or partially ruined but still standing and heavily visited. Interesting fact: the Colosseum was originally clad in marble, much of which was later repurposed for other buildings like St. Peter's Basilica. That's number six.
Jamie says, I have been to the Colosseum in Rome. It wasn't open to the public when I went. But I can tell you as an empath, I could feel the spirits in that place. Wow, it's crazy. The pain and the people that felt there was people felt there was nuts. And
Huh.
Matt says the worst place to drive is in the Philippines, without a doubt. And Elm Street says, yeah, I didn't enter it myself either. The Coliseum looks awesome. I wish I could go inside of it at some point. That would be
Me
really
too.
cool. I think the feeling of being in a place like that, of walking through inside of a place like that where so much occurred, where fights to the death did happen, the feelings that you must be able to feel in there are probably beyond anything you've ever felt in your life. And it probably could lead to, like, even in some people who are intense empaths, like visions and things like that, because that place, holds memory. It holds memory.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice to go visit.
I'm Sicilian, related to John Gotti's attorney, so it's in my blood to go see the Colosseum inside. Oh my gosh, John Gotti. John Gotti. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
John freaking Gotti.
Right.
That's a name, my man. That's a
Mhm.
name.
All right. Number 7, Taj Mahal, Agra, India.
Okay, you gonna say the Taj Mahal, brother?
Hey,
Is that what we
before we
said,
get to
Taj
number
Mahal?
7,
That's number 7.
apparently I was muted when I tried asking the question about the one in Mexico. I was asking,
Oh,
are
Chichen
we?
Itza?
I was trying to ask a question. Yes, are you allowed to climb on it? Because I've seen a video where they say you're not allowed
Yes.
to climb on it anymore. That they got it roped
So
off.
I don't know about anymore, but when I went to there, so there's more than one pyramid. That's just the big one at Chichen Itza. But
Okay.
there's more than one pyramid, if I remember correctly, or we went to another site that had more pyramids. But the pyramids that we went to the second time, you didn't get to climb on the big one, not the big pyramid thing. That was off limits, like to archaeological like things. But there were smaller pyramids that were built by those people that didn't really have, like, they were just stone and stuff. Like, there was no real, they couldn't find any real reason why they were there besides maybe markers for like celestial objects. and those you are totally allowed to like walk on, and they're small enough that if you did fall and get hurt, it's your own fault. Like, it's not like climbing the Pyramid of Giza or something.
Yeah.
And I know at Chichen Itza they used to let you go on the pyramid, but yeah, I don't they don't do that no more. It becomes an archaeological like issue because people, you, your shoes and everything else, it just works in degrading what's left there, you know.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, I feel like
Mm.
that's the only reason why. But when I was there, we were allowed to climb on one pyramid, and I remember it wasn't the main one.
All
There's your
right.
Taj Mahal.
Construction built between 1632 and 1653 by Emperor Shah Jahan for his wife.
Oh, since
Mumtaz.
2008, Matt says you can't do any of that since 2008, and I believe you, dude. I probably went before 2008.
Yeah. Okay, so for his wife, Montaz Mahal. Description: a white marble mausoleum with perfect symmetry, featuring a central dome, minarets, and intricate intricate inlay work with precise stones or precious stones. Sorry. Significance: a peninsula of Mughal architecture symbolizing love and artistic excellence. Current status: a
Yeah, for
UNESCO
sure, Elm
World
Street. You're right.
a UNESCO World Heritage Site, well maintained by but facing challenges from pollution and structural stress. Interesting fact: the Taj Mahal's white marble changes hue with the time of day, appearing pinkish at dawn and golden at dusk.
So you know that within the Tartarian conspiracy, that
Hmm.
the Taj Mahal is a rabbit hole within itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What's a
what I've
weird thing
heard.
about What's the weird thing about the Taj Mahal that like had to be added later on that was not in the Taj Mahal when they first got it
It looked
or when they
Romanesque.
first built it? Because
It looked
people
Romanesque.
say they founded it, and then other people say they really built it, and there's a whole bunch of random weird things with the Taj Mahal that don't add up because they actually have three different stories covered in the past that were of three different architects that supposedly built the Taj Mahal, and nobody agrees on who it was. But now, of course, there's an official story. There always ends up being an official story, but for years they didn't know who built it. So people like to try to get into like the Tartarian theory. So when I look at these structures, especially like the Taj Mahal, the one feature that they had to add to the Taj Mahal because it was never there, and I don't know if they ever added one or not, but they probably did. It's a modern world, is a bathroom. Why was there never a bathroom originally in the Taj Mahal?
I don't know.
Isn't that the place where he buried his wife? Is
It was
that
like
the same
supposedly a
thing?
palace, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
it a palace? The Taj Mahal was technically a palace, right? It was
I
because I
don't
don't
supposedly
know.
know
built
if
for the
that's
king.
the right one or not. But I thought it was built for his wife's
It was
body.
built for his wife. Her name was Montez Mahal.
Okay, was he ever buried there also
I
after
don't
he
know.
died?
I don't know. It doesn't say. It doesn't even say that she was buried there. It was just said he had it built. Jahan had this built for his wife between 1632 and 1653. But anyways, key differences
I
between
don't
the
know.
old and
Does my
new.
mic sound really bad, guys?
I mean,
Like,
Not real
does it
bad,
sound
but
bad?
yeah,
it's
not real bad.
breaking up a little.
Yeah, a little. But anyways, the key differences between the old and new wonders geographical scope. The ancient wonders were concentrated around the Mediterranean and Middle East, reflecting the Greek world view. The new wonders spanned the globe, representing diverse cultures and eras. Purpose. Ancient wonders were often religious, funerary, or symbolic, like temples, tombs, statues, while the new wonders include civic and cultural landmarks, the Colosseum, Christ, the Redeemer, etc. Selection process. The ancient list was curated by scholars based on their travels records. The new list was chosen by a public vote, making it more democratic, but also controversial due to biases in voting, accessibility to internet voting, survival. Only the Great Pyramid remains intact from the ancient list, while all the new wonders are still standing, though some face preservation challenges. Controversial controversies and criticism. Ancient wonders. The list was Eurocentric, omitting significant structures from other regions, like the Great Wall, China, or Machu Picchu, due to the limited knowledge of Greek scholars. New Wonders, the 2007 poll, faced criticism for commercialism. The new Seven Wonders Foundation was accused of prioritizing profit over historical accuracy biases. Voting depended on internet access favoring countries with higher connectivity or national campaigns like Brazil and India heavily promoted their sites. Exclusions, notable sites like the Pyramids of Giza made a honorary wonder, and Angkor Wat were not included, sparking debates. UNESCO's stance. UNESCO distanced itself from the New Seven Wonders campaign, arguing it lacked significant rigor and emphasized popularity over cultural value. And then the last thing I have on here, additional notes, honorary wonder. The Great Pyramid of Giza was named an honorary wonder in 2007 list to acknowledge its unique status as the only surviving ancient wonder. Preservation efforts. Many wonders, both ancient and modern, face threats from natural disasters, tourism, or pollution. Organizations like UNESCO and local governments work to protect these sites. Cultural impact. Both lists have shaped how we view human achievement, inspiring awe and fostering global appreciation for cultural heritage. And that's basically it.
All right, does my mic sound better now?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's basically
Like,
everything I have on both lists.
Okay, so I had some other ones that you did not mention at all that were talked about. Let me see if I can't pull it up real quick because I looked at it earlier and I was like, he's not talking about any of this.
They're probably like ocean wise or islands, which I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about because I sent you a video of one of them, but about a few of them. But of course, Grok doesn't want to give me those. They just want to give me the specific ones.
No, so these are the ones that you didn't mention. The Channel Tunnel in the United Kingdom in France,
Okay.
and basically, I actually do have a picture of it because I thought you were going to mention it.
It didn't
So
show
that's
up.
this. This is the Channel Tunnel.
Okay.
But it's 50 kilometers underwater rail tunnel connecting Folkestone, England to Calais, France, completed in 1994. So that's kind of cool. It literally goes for 50 kilometers under the water.
Wow.
So you could actually walk through it without drowning.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then we have the CN Tower in Canada. It's 553-meter communications and observation tower in Toronto. It was completed in 1976. That's pretty cool looking. It reminds me
Yeah,
of the Space Needle, right? In like Seattle or whatever.
right.
Yeah.
And then one that I don't really have to go pull up a picture of or anything because everybody should know what it looks like, but is the Empire State Building in New York.
Oh yeah.
And then the Golden Gate Bridge in California and San Francisco. It's 2.7 kilometers. It's a suspension bridge. It was completed in 1937. And then the Itapu Dam in Brazil or Paraguay. It's a massive hydroelectric dam on the Paraná River, completed in 1984. And the Netherlands North Sea Protection Works. It's an extensive system of seawalls and barriers, including the Delta Works, developed over decades. And then the Panama Canal, which is 82-kilometer ship canal linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, completed in 1914, expanded in 2016.
Hmm.
And they were chosen for engineering feats and the global impact. But that's what I got originally. Was those were the original, or when I typed in the new 7 wonders of the world. And
Now,
I personally think the trade towers would be on there if September 11th never happened.
Right.
yeah. Now the bridge in California that you mentioned. I watched something on Mysteries at the Museum about the guy who built that bridge.
Which bridge?
The one in San Francisco,
The
the
Golden
Oh,
Golden
the
Gate
Gate.
Golden
Bridge.
Gate.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I think it'd be super stupid cool if they could find a way to make an underwater tunnel that was a roadway or a walkway that was see-through, like that went for miles and miles and miles under the water. But I know that somehow they would claim it to be unsafe. But I think it would be really freaking cool
Well,
just to be able to walk out in the middle of the ocean and see everything around you.
well, think about it like this. Okay, if you had something like that, right, and you're in the ocean, right, and you're walking through a tunnel, you keep walking. There's a chance sharks or massive sea creatures would try to slam into that glass wall to get you.
You worried about some Final Destination stuff with a shark?
No. Okay, look.
That guy's a family friend of mine in those days. LMAO at Elm Street, and then he
Have
said,
you,
"My family were mafia dock people in San Francisco." Oh yes, that would explain John Gotti.
okay, so
Wine profits made the change lifestyles here in Northern California, left that life behind. Yeah,
have you ever have you ever seen the Meg?
yes, I
Okay,
have.
the sequel, the Meg 2.
The
There,
Panama Canal is sorry, just a second. The Jamie said the Panama Canal is absolutely amazing. It takes a full day to go through. The locks we took a cruise through there in South America several years back, but it was a great adventure. And then Elm Street said, "Man, I always wanted to go to Panama." But anyways,
so
continue what you were saying.
the Meg 2. There's a scene where the megalodon was slamming into the glass window, right?
Yeah,
Just to snatch a human,
to try to get that girl. Yeah.
and it did. He used so much force to break that glass.
Are you
That
that worried about giant sea monsters?
yeah.
Really? You know you have like a 2% chance of ever running into a giant sea monster? Even less of a chance if you want it to be a giant squid. Like, you have such a low chance of running into a giant squid ever in your life. You have more of a chance of running into a huge shark of some kind
Did,
just because they show up on beaches.
did you know back in the day that krakens were actually technically the giant squid?
L Street was like, "Y'all spoiler." Then he said, "Laugh my ass off, JK." I
Now,
did it.
thinking of squid,
Not the
I've tried
tentacles
one
again. The
and I did
horrible
not like it.
tentacles.
They looked like they were alive,
Well, you don't like the
but they were
calamari?
already cooked.
You don't like the calamari?
I
Judy,
do not
calamari is
like squid.
delicious. Julie,
I
calamari is
tried. I tried it.
calamari is
My
delicious.
stepfather was a lieutenant commander in the Navy, and he was also a chef for the Admiral's Aid. So he was coming up with all sorts of different foods for us to try.
Like seafood
But I'm
dishes.
telling you, the squid looked like they were alive, but they were already cooked. And I tried it, and I think it was just the texture.
Elm Street said, "Bro, the scariest place in the world is the ocean, let's be honest." Yeah, I mean, true that. Definitely because we barely have any of it discovered. Barely any of it. There
Yes.
could be giant sea monsters in that bitch for all I know, and, my ass is perfectly okay with going to the beach and going for a swim and swimming out maybe if I'm feeling crazy, maybe, like, half a mile out, depending on how crazy the water's going, but I ain't going any further than that. I don't trust it. I don't want a shark
Me
coming up
neither.
and grabbing me. I don't want nothing like that happening. A mile like, half a mile is quite a far ways if you're swimming offshore. So, I give myself a little bit of room there, and I have done that, but I would never go any further. I just don't trust it. The reason why is if I can't see anything in the water next to me, I don't think I should be in that water.
I agree.
What about you, crew?
I mean, with me swimming in the Atlantic Ocean, I'm putting my feet in the Gulf of when it was Mexico. Um, I'm not scared of the ocean. I love swimming in the ocean. But fun fact, I think this was around 8th grade year. I was swimming in the Atlantic Ocean over by Jekyll Island, And my mom said that, hey, did you know you were swimming by a nurse shark? I was like, no. She's like, you don't scare that easily, do you? I mean, if I was in the ocean, underwater, probably. But when I'm above sea level by the beach, I'm not scared.
You want to know what was scary for me, man? And Matt, by the way, said the Humboldt squids in Baja California, Mexico, are called the Red Devil. They drag people down and eat them.
Wow.
That's scary.
And then, like the crazy Indian Ocean zone that we're learning about right now is insane. That's what Elm Street said. So the Indian Ocean gravitation point, it's actually a crazy story to read up on. NASA is baffled by it too. We'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
But no,
Hey,
like
thinking about the golf.
the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
America.
When I lived in Beaumont, we got to go take a ride one day, and we were riding right on either side of the Gulf and the other lake or whatever that was next to it
That was back
on
when it
both
was the Gulf of
sides.
Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been about 4 years ago.
So back in when I was about in fourth grade was the only time I actually got to see the Gulf of Mexico when it was called that. And I was in Galveston, Texas,
I love
on
Yeah.
a pier.
Galveston.
I was
Galveston's
in,
awesome.
yeah, I was on the pier in this restaurant, and that was the first time I ever saw the ocean. And I was like, I told my mom, I was like, hey, after we're done here on the pier, eating, because um, yes, I actually do know about that. They were telling me about that when we were doing a ghost tour. Um,
Yeah.
Pretty cool fact.
Coats. Funny fact, I did too. I was in the Cayman Islands with my family, and we went snorkeling, and we ended up actually seeing a fairly big shark. Like I don't know how big it was, but it was big enough that I was worried. And our snorkel guide was like, "Oh, it'll be fine. He's like 50 yards or whatever away. He's not even intrigued by us at all." But I couldn't stop looking at this freaking thing. It was gigantic, and it made me so uncomfortable being next to this giant shark in the water.
But
A secret meeting.
yeah, so um, when I was asking my mom, I was like, "Hey, can we go down to the beach so I can go actually check out the ocean?" She's like, "Yeah, but don't go swimming in it."
Oh my god, that's crazy, Elm Street.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
attacked by 1,000 jellyfish?
Oh,
Like, are
wow.
you exaggerating, or was it really like 1,000 jellyfish? Because that would be scary as shit.
But yeah, so when my mom said don't go swimming, I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Yeah, that is true. They are harmless." Um,
He said it was about 50, but he was deep in the water. Oh my goodness. Terrible.
and I was like, "Why can't I go swimming in it?" She goes, "That ocean is so polluted.
Oh my god,
Just
you were only
be near the beach."
50 yards out. Jeez. And like when you say 10, like 10 years old, Elm Street, like you were 10? That's crazy to think. Like, so you wanted to go swim out in the ocean. Your mom said no because the ocean was too polluted.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing: the way it looked,
Oh my
it.
god, that's so crazy, Elm Street. He was 10 years old and they were washing ashore. Oh,
But yeah, the way Gulf of Mexico looked. It looked so green, like really badly green and very disgusting. And from out in the distance, you could see some of the pollution. And I
Don't
just
they
stayed.
get don't they get like stuff like called red tide, which is like bacteria that comes up onto like the ocean and it kills people from time to time because they swim in it?
I believe so. Yeah.
I could be completely full of shit, but I think I've heard that before.
Right. But anyways,
What the fuck happened to the sound? Y'all froze up a minute. I can't hear anything. I'm sorry, brother.
weird.
I'm still here. Julie's still here. Crew's still
Anyways,
Yeah.
here.
we got a couple of videos for you guys tonight.
I mean, Jamie, refresh it. It sounds fine. Matt can hear too. Nobody's having any problems, Jamie. I think you're the only one having problems. You need to hit refresh. All right, you wanted to play a video?
Yeah, let's
Down
do
all
it.
these crazy photos, man.
Yeah.
Play you a video. Let's play a
7 ancient
video.
wonders
Here
of the
you go.
world, now versus before.
Pyramid of Giza.
Oldest one on the list, and somehow the only one that's still standing. Many of you might know it was thought to be completely white back in the day, covered in limestone and topped off with a gold tip.
Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
In present day Iraq, and there's much debate as to whether it even existed. But when it did, it was a lavish palace with many layers of rooftop gardens in the middle of a desert.
Temple of Artemis.
Stood for 200 years before it was destroyed by fire in 356 BC. You can still visit the ruins in Turkey today, but back in its glory days, it was built entirely of marble, covered in gold, with more than 100 massive pillars holding up the roof.
Statue of Zeus in Olympia.
Was burned down by fire after over 800 years and only ruins remain. Crafted with ivory and holding a golden statue of Nike, the goddess of victory, in one hand and a massive golden scepter in the other.
Mausoleum at Halicarnassus.
In Turkey, was destroyed by an earthquake in 1404 after standing over 1700 years. Built as a tomb for a governor in the Persian Empire, it was also fitted with bear statues all around it.
Colossus of Rhodes.
In Greece, looks pretty empty now, but it used to be a massive statue of the sun god Helios, which got toppled by an earthquake after only 60 years of erection.
Lighthouse of Alexandria.
It was also toppled by an earthquake after standing for over 1,000 years. Made near the tail end of the Egyptian Empire, it had large curved mirrors inside of it that would reflect sunlight during the day and wood burning fire at night.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Feel like we went over all of those.
Yeah.
Here's another video.
Where are the 7 natural wonders of the world currently located? First is Iguazu Falls, located on the border of Brazil and Argentina, with a system of more than 270 waterfalls stretching nearly 3 kilometers through the South American rainforest. Second is the Amazon rainforest in South America, covering 9 countries. It is the green lung of the earth, home to over 3 million species of flora and fauna, many of which are still unknown to humans. Third is Ha Long Bay of Vietnam. This place has more than 1,600 limestone islands rising from emerald green waters, many mysterious, magical caves. It has appeared in Hollywood films such as Kong. Fourth is Jeju Island in South Korea. It is a volcanic island with Hallasan Peak, the highest mountain in South Korea. It is the only place in Korea with a subtropical climate where vegetation is lush. Fifth is the Puerto Princesa Underground River in the Philippines. It is the longest navigable underground river, over 8 kilometers long, flowing through limestone mountains. It has a diverse ecosystem, combining mountains, caves, forests, and river in one space. Sixth is Komodo Island in Indonesia. It is the only place in the world where the Komodo dragon, the largest lizard on Earth, still lives. Pristine landscapes, small islands like something out of a fairy tale. Finally, Table Mountain in South Africa. The mountaintop is flat like a table, overlooking the entire city of Cape Town. Do you think there are places more beautiful than these 7 natural wonders?
Y'all with this statue and this erection in 60 years. Jesus. Guys, you're killing me. I can't do this. That statue did not have a 60-year-old erection, nor did it get erect for 60 years. I'm scared for my life with where this podcast is going.
But those are pretty neat wonders of the natural world.
Oh my goodness. No, so the natural wonders of the world. So, I would have thought that the Leaning Tower of Pisa would be in there. And
I do too.
even possibly like places like the catacombs in Paris, France. But I guess they're not the most amazing. And like the Eiffel Tower too, like that's not in there. So I don't know. That's just kind of weird to me. Blocks of little blue pills. What?
Oh.
Wait.
Oh, goodness.
You guys can't hear it right now, but my cat is snoring so loud that I'm pretty sure he's causing my room to shake. It's outrageous. This cat is so loud when he sleeps, and he like meows in his sleep, so he like talks in his sleep like a human does, and it's so funny.
Oh, but I bet.
Have you ever seen a dog like run in its sleep? My
No.
cat does that. My cat moves his arms and legs when he's sleeping, and like he looks
Oh,
like he's
wow.
running. The little guy looks like he's having so much fun, but at the same time, I'm like, or he is running for his freaking life from a monster that is trying to attack him. Right? No, I completely agree. How come the Sphinx and the Parthenon weren't a part of the ancient wonders? Coates says, wasn't me. Nah, it wasn't you. JB definitely got the picture. It says, okay, Shaggy. It's all about the bricks of red ones. The bricks of red ones. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Red bricks, blue bricks, pink bricks, hallucinogenic bricks. What are we talking about here? Coates lost me. I know. Coates lost me too. Red pill or blue pill? What was it in the Matrix? Which one was it? The red pill or the blue pill? Which one were you supposed to take? I don't remember my
I
options.
I remember the options, but I forget which one he took. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. I've only seen it once.
It's been so long since
Let
I've
me
seen that
see it. I'm
movie.
gonna get it. Please give me my options when it comes to red pill, blue pill, matrix style.
In The Matrix, the red pill represents choosing to learn the uncomfortable truth about reality, while the blue pill lets you stay in blissful ignorance. It's more of a metaphor than actual options, but you could think of it as deciding between facing hard truths or staying comfortable with what you know.
I'd
Which one
want the
feels
red
more like
I'd want the red pill. I'd want the red pill. I don't want to stay in stupid bliss. I don't want to be stupid just to be happy. That sounds terrible. Like, I know for some people that might sound awesome, but that sounds terrible.
I
Always
picked the red pill.
gotta take the red pill. If you take
Yes.
the blue pill, you're just numbing your pain.
Yeah, because if you take the blue pill, you're
This
basically
cat
closing
screaming is
yourself
shutting him
off.
down. Don't say that. I am scared crapless that my cat is gonna kill me someday. That's the one thing I'm worried about. I'm
But
worried
yeah,
that cat will at some point he'll figure out how to use his little fuzzy mittens to carry a knife or a revolver and unalive me because I didn't feed him on time. Like I'm scared of that. Don't feed that fear.
but yeah. So like, I'd rather take the red pill because when people are taking the blue pill, they're basically closing themselves off to reality and not wanting to accept the facts, what truly is real. And
Elm Street says, this goes into what I said about Nibiru. The planet is the planet in the Matrix, and we live in the simulation, which is why Crew is there as well.
well,
Crew's on Nibiru.
hold on. I'm gonna bring this up because we have been talking about this, and we might do it. We're probably gonna do an episode on this soon. Prompt theory. We all live in a freaking prompt.
Jamie, stop.
But yeah, so it all brings back to the
No.
fact that I brought.
My cat's a good cat. He's a good
But yeah,
cat.
so this brings up to the fact that since Elm Street did say this, I'm starting to think we do live in a freaking prompt. Okay.
Oh, he wants your prompt theory episode.
Okay.
Crew's
Yes.
doing
All
that
right.
tomorrow.
So I'll give you a little general idea what a prompt theory is. Basically, okay. So if you're playing with an AI simulator, right, and you're creating a story, prompt theory is basically people who live in a simulation and they go about their day
I
in the
know we
way
gotta get him
prompters
back.
want them to. So okay, they
We're
want
gonna
the
give you
prompt
the
theory
we're
upsell.
we're
They
gonna
want the
do it for
prompt
you.
theory
Okay,
upsell.
guys, tomorrow, the episode is going to be simulation and prompt theory, okay? We will touch on both subjects because simulation theory is one of my favorite theories. Just ask Crew. I love the subject of simulation theory
So do
because
I.
I feel like if anything, we probably are living in some kind of simulation. And that's okay. It doesn't destroy anybody's beliefs. Like the simulation still has to be created. A simulation would actually prove God, as sad as that is. I mean, that's wonderful for religious groups, terrible for other people. Matrix is a great theory, even if it's not true, so I enjoy stuff like it. For sure. Wouldn't be where we are without science fiction in those minds. For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Where we are. Dude, science fiction is wonderful. Well, tonight we learned about the seven wonders of the world. Which one is your favorite, Crew? Did
I'm
you
gonna
have a
go with
favorite?
yes, the Colosseum.
And why the Colosseum, brother?
It's historical and it's beautiful, and I've always wanted to go into it.
Elm Street. We completely joke about the reptilian theories. We think that stuff is absolutely hilarious. But Tartarian mud flood theory, I mean, it's intriguing. I'm not gonna tell you the entire world was covered with mud and entire places have been dug up and all this other stuff. I know that's all a giant conspiracy related to Tartaria. We've done our Tartaria episode and our mud flood episode. I don't know if I believe it or not, but what I can tell you is some really weird crap has gone on throughout the years, and some architecture does not match up with timelines.
It's
So it
basically
makes me
for
wonder.
me, for me on that conspiracy theory. It's a mind. But with the old Seven Wonders, I gotta go with
That'd be cool to
the.
go diving in a sunken Pharos lighthouse.
But yeah,
So they're
I
going
gotta
off in the
go.
comments, man.
I gotta go with Giza for the older one.
Hell yeah, man! The pyramids, man. That's where we gotta go. We gotta see the
Yes.
pyramids.
Yes.
Gotta see the pyramids.
I would love to see the pyramids.
Just don't become a sole believer of the Tartarian theory or of weird reptilian theory or any other weird theory. Okay, okay, crew. You hear him? Don't do it. You know what, Elm Street though? I don't know if this is gonna upset you or not, but hey, crew, is the world round? Is the world round?
Don't get me
Are
started.
we on a globe?
Don't get me started. You know
Crew, are we
how
on a
much I will
globe?
get heat. I'm not. No, no. I'm not going to talk about this. We've everybody's ever seen the previous seasons, and every other episode. They should know my stance on this. I'm not going back into it. Nope. No.
The Death Star moon theory. Ask what happened to the rocket flat Earth man. Yeah, crew, what happened to the rocket flat Earth man? Didn't he die?
Hey, what's the theory about the man in the moon?
I think that's just myth.
Rocket flat Earth man.
Yeah, the guy that built a rocket to prove that the Earth was flat. Did you never hear about that? I did.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
I
I
haven't.
haven't heard about that.
What happened to the man who built a rocket to prove that the Earth was flat?
Mad Mike Hughes launched himself in a homemade rocket, aiming to prove the Earth was flat, but he tragically died in 2020 when his rocket crashed in the California desert. His parachute deployed too early, causing the crash during a stunt for a TV series.
Hmm.
Bro died.
Because it was like a malfunction or something.
His parachute released too early or didn't really release too early? Is that what
Yeah,
it said?
it's a malfunction. That's what happened. A malfunction.
I
So
think he proved himself wrong. Oh my god. Oh my god, yes. Yes. That's the best. The Rocket Man didn't believe in flat Earth. It was a stunt to fund the rocket. Proved himself something. No,
Yeah.
because you have to launch a rocket straight up. He did not. It's common physics to shoot straight up or your rocket loses to gravity.
Yeah,
Hey,
you know
crew.
there was a movie about the Rocket Man.
Is gravity real, crew? Crew. Is gravity real? Then explain this. What's this? Why does this happen? I'm embarrassing him. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna get into this whole debate again. Okay, we've already gotten this
Yeah.
whole debate, and yeah, no.
Oh, Elm Street's
Yeah,
like,
I
you don't
love the
believe in gravity,
movie.
give an answer.
I love the movie about the Rocket Boy. Remember that movie? He met
You're
Von
being chewed out,
Braun's.
Okay,
bro.
Okay. Look. Rob, you already know my stance on everything. There's no
She says, "You think God's holding us down?"
Oh goodness.
That's a good
I
one.
put crew
That's
on
a good one.
spot.
I
He
actually
was
like that. That's a
upset.
good one. That's a good one. There's the answer. God's holding us down.
Oh my goodness.
All right, guys. Well, we have come to the end of the show. I hope everybody has had a wonderful night. I loved learning about the 7 multiple wonders of the world, and apparently there's more than just 7. Apparently there's like 39 or some crap because everybody's got a different list.
Yeah.
So I would love to see each and every one of them up close. I've only seen one in my entire life. I would love to see a lot more. How come the St. Louis Arch can't be a wonder of the world? I've seen that a million times. I guess I've seen 2 because one of them was technically the Empire State Building. I've never seen the Golden Gate Bridge, though. But anyways, I hope everybody in this stream tonight has had a wonderful night. And tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, Elm Street, we meet again. Have a good night.
Right.
Peace out from the Robert and Crew Show. Like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends. Woo!
If you don't like boring news but still crave the truth, then dive into The Robert and Crew Show. From mind-bending conspiracy theories to wild weather phenomena, we've got it all. Ever wondered what's really happening in your hometown, or what secrets the global news isn't telling you? We dig deep into the core of every story, unraveling the mysteries one podcast at a time. Join Robert and the crew as we navigate this vibrant, ever-changing cyberpunk landscape, bringing you interviews with the most intriguing minds out there. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, a news junkie or a weather enthusiast, there's something here for you. So strap in, listeners, because we're about to take you on a ride through the neon-lit alleys of truth and intrigue. This is the Robert and Crew Show, where the future meets the fantastic.